Hey, Chris Wheatley here from Hot Tub University. Today we're standing here with Cal from
Casey's Hot Tubs.
Hey, Casey's Hot Tubs. So KC Hot Tubs is a hot tub refurbishment center. What these guys do is they collect hot tubs that are coming out of people's backyards that in a lot of cases aren't worth repairing. Now when these guys refurbish tubs, it's not what most guys are doing. Most guys open them up, patch a couple leaks up, throw some gear in it, resell it to a client. These guys actually remove all the jet housings from the shell, they clean everything up, they replumb the tubs top to bottom, they replace all the parts, even so much as putting new skirting on them. So when they get these guys, the tub comes out of this place, it's like a new hot tub. One of the nice things about some of the older shells was the older shells were actually built pretty good for the most part. It's only recently we've got into cheaper shells. So these guys are saving these shells from going into the landfill site and really recycling this product back into the marketplace, which is fantastic. So Callum, thanks for giving me some time today.
Yeah, no worries.
What's your worst tub to refurbish? What's your most unhappy tub to come through your door?
Probably hot springs, just because of the closed cell foam. It's impossible to find the leaks. It takes hours to dig out the foam, and it's just not worth it. We don't really pick up hot springs for that sole reason. They take forever to refix.
Now you have rebuilt a couple of them?
Yeah, we've rebuilt two or three when we first started, but after that we just
bail on them.
Yeah, they're not worth it.
And what about the parts list on them? Did you manage to buy parts for them, or?
No, there's a bunch of proprietary parts like the fountains, everything like that. The motor massagers, they're ridiculously expensive and take forever to come in and are really hard to source. And then, I mean, the whole control system we have to replace with a brand new one because it's junk and costs $2,500.
So it costs more than you're getting a good Balboa system
Exactly. It's 2 or 3 times the price and is way less reliable, and it's just not worth it for us to keep that in there.
So you've done them. You probably made out okay on them by the time you were done, but way too much work. So generally those are landfill tubs when they come out of your backyard. Yeah. What do you think of the overall build quality of the brand? Because it sells for a very high-end price. It's marketed as a super good tub.
Not that great. They spend a lot of money on marketing. It's a mid to low-end build quality, I'd say. You know, we get a lot of leaks. A lot of it is internal fit. They don't clamp most of their stuff. It's the cheap foam. It's just not great.
It's just not a
the
great
parts
tub.
are cheap and proprietary. They're basically, they'll sell you the tub, and then they just want you to come back and buy those really expensive parts because you can only get it from them.
Now, have you seen anything, mostly what you're working on here is going to be the old 2-part jet systems where they've got the retaining nut and the silicone. So you're doing a lot of silicone work here.
Yes, a lot of silicone work.
Have you seen any of the new compression fit systems?
We barely ever get them just because they reseal themselves. And if we do get them, they're a dream. We don't have to do anything with them. It's just if some of them are out a little bit, reseat them, and that's it. They reseal themselves.
Okay, what kind of insights do you have? You know, as you know, my whole gig is telling people what to look for when they're buying a new hot tub. What kind of insight do you have for my customers out there?
Biggest thing, you know, as being a tech, I'd say stay away from closed cell foam systems. They're not worth it. You need a good open cell insulation system, and make sure your plumbing is clamped. Those are the 2 biggest things. If you can get compression fit jets, it's always a huge bonus over the silicone, but pretty much everyone does that nowadays. It'd be silly not to. But basically, you know, you want clamped lines because it's just a cheap cost-cutting thing that can save you a lot of money. You want a good solid shell as well. It's the biggest thing. It's the only thing you can't replace in a hot tub. Everything else you can replace. But if you get a cheap shell, then there's nothing you can do. If it cracks, it's cracked, and there's not much you can do there.
So if you get a tub with a shell issue, it just goes to the landfill?
Yeah, generally. Some of them on rotomolds we can fix them just because they're rotationally molded plastic. It's, you know, you can use JB weld, any plastic weld, and it's good to go. But any acrylic tub, they're a pain in the ass to fix, and if they're already cracking, they're likely going to crack more. So
right. And do we see a lot of this? Are there a lot of cheap shells on the market?
Yeah, there's a lot of cheap shells, cradle supported. They're thin. They're just supported by the closed cell foam. So especially once we dig some of that out, it can be, you know, it gets pretty sketchy. You're worried that the shell's going to crack when you're moving.
And where are these tubs coming out of for the most place?
You know, Costco, Home Depot, stuff like that, and we're getting them for next to nothing generally because after 5 years, 8 years, they're, you know, broken down and barely working anymore.
Right, and clients at that point in time have already spent 5 years of trying to keep them in the field, and they're just fed up with them. And
they're just tired of them. They just want them gone, and they're just like, please come take it.
The parts is the one thing you didn't mention on that whole thing. What's your favorite parts list on the hot tub?
Balboa, by far. All the other Watkins, they're just really expensive, especially Watkins. It's ridiculous. The heater's $800. It should never be $800. It doesn't make any sense.
But does it ever fail? Because they say it's a no-fault heater.
They fail all the time. They have plastic caps on them, which it's a steel heater, and they have plastic caps, which obviously are going to break all the time. It's ridiculous, and you can't buy just those caps. You have to buy the new $800 heater if they break.
And they're avoiding their warranty on this because they're saying the heater hasn't technically failed.
Yeah.
It's the pressure sensor switch that's integrated into the heater. But either way, a customer's looking at $600 to replace a stupid proprietary part that's worth $100 or $75.
If you Balboa is cheaper, better, and it's easier to install, works better. It's no-brainer. You need Balboa. Everything else is just junk.
What do you think of the whole proprietary parts game? What do you think it's?
It's kind of just a scam. They just sell you the tub and then you're stuck. You can only get those parts from them and there's nothing you can do. If you don't do your research ahead of time and you get a tub with a bad parts list, then there's nothing you can do. You're just gonna be continually spending money on parts that are ridiculously overpriced because there's nothing else you can do.
And do you have a hard time getting these parts?
Yeah, they're really, really hard to get. They can take months to come in and they're also ridiculously priced.
So it's just not worth it.
It's a nightmare.
All right, well, listen, Callum, I really appreciate your time. Chris Wheatley, Hot Tub University, talking about the dark side of the world, and we're going to see some more stuff from Callum coming down the road here as they fix some of these tubs. We're going to set some cameras up and hopefully get some good footage of what happens in a hot tub and what happens in a rebuild world. So, Callum, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Chris Wheatley, Hot Tub University. Have yourself a great day.